Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we got a really exciting one for you. I'm going to be going over my Tesla price targets for 2023. I'm going to show you different ranges that I think Tesla can hit based on factors like net income or the PE ratio that it'll trade at. But either way, if you're a Tesla bull or a Tesla bear, I think this is going to be a good video for you. Let's get it started. Let's go over a few ranges that I think Tesla can trade at for next year. In the first section, we have the revenue in billions. So in 2021, they did 55 billion in revenue, and Elon's talked about growing at around 50% per year. Some years it's going to be higher, some years it's going to be lower. This year they're on track to do a little bit above 50%. So that put them right around a little over 80 billion this year in revenue for 2022. So going into 2023, Elon did talk about in the Twitter Spaces yesterday that margins could get hit because as interest rates rise, they might have to lower their cost, because anything that where you have to get a loan to buy houses, cars, it's gonna take a hit in demand. So to weather that storm of the hit in demand, you have to lower your asking price for your cars. So right now the average sale price for a Tesla is over 50,000. So we can see some changes there. They're on track to do around 2 million next year in car sales. So with revenue, I can see, I still think they're gonna do around this 50% growth at around 120 billion. Even if they, so at 50,000 average sale price for automotives times 2 million cars, that equals about 100 billion in revenue. Add in the Lathrop factory, the Megapack plant in California, that is on track to do about 20 billion in sales. A 2 million average price for the Megapacks times 10,000, that should be sold around next year. That'll give it around a 20 billion in revenue. So I think, and then some extra with solar, I think around 120 is pretty reasonable. So to me, the most reasonable one for this is about the 50% growth at 120. I'm sure there's going to be a few other things, maybe with the Cybertruck coming out, more semi sales. I guess it could raise, and maybe solar expands a little bit. We could see it closer to 130, maybe getting close to 140, but I think around 120 is pretty fair.
This video is for educational and informational purposes only, should not be considered as professional financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. Always consult a professional financial advisor before making any financial decisions.
So this past year, they did about 17% net income, which I think it could grow, especially with the Megapack plant. We looked at that a couple of videos ago, and we saw that they could do around 40% net income for the Megapack plant. So I think that can definitely increase margins. But also, if you lower the average sale price for automotive side, that could mess with the margins a little bit too. So I'm gonna stick to around the same at about 17%, which at that 124 billion for next year at the 50% growth, that gives them around 21 billion in revenue for 2023, in net income, sorry. So the low range is on a 30% growth, that give them about 16 billion in net income. 40% is 18, 50% is 21, 60% is 24, 70% gives them 27 billion in net income. 80% growth gives them 30 billion in net income at the 17% net income. And then for 90% growth would give them about 34 billion in net income. Let me know in the comments what you guys think they're gonna do, how much they're gonna grow next year. My prediction's around 50%. That's what Elon's been stating. I think it's pretty reasonable to say that they're gonna do around 50% growth for next year. So at 50% growth, that would give them an EPS of 7, which is pretty standard with Wall Street estimates for next year. It can go all the way up, in my predictions, up to around 11, or all the way as low as 5. I don't see it staying pretty stagnant. This year they're gonna do about a 4 EPS. So I think 7 is pretty reasonable, especially with the growth and ramp up of Texas and Berlin, and then the Megapack plant in California. So let's look at a few ranges that the stock can trade at based on its PE. Right now, it's trading a little bit above 30 PE. Its forward PE, I think, is around 15, which is just unbelievable. I want to make a prediction that if it stays around these levels, I can almost guarantee in 2023, you will hear Warren Buffett become a buyer of Tesla. It probably sounded crazy if you said that a few years ago, but no one expected it to get to these levels. I've had so many friends and different people that I've talked to that have been scared to buy Tesla because they hear in the news or they look at it and they saw 1,000 PE that, oh my God, I'm never gonna buy something that's that expensive. But how we get to the levels, it's at 30 PE. I don't even know if people have seen the levels that it's gotten to. So let's just say in the crazy event that it starts trading at a 20 PE, it could stay stagnant around the prices, especially at a 50% growth next year. With a EPS of 7 times 20, it puts it around 133, which is pretty similar to what it's at now, which would mean it just stays stagnant for all of 2023. I think that's a little crazy. I don't really see that happening, but who knows what's gonna happen with rates? Are rates gonna stay the same? Could rates increase? Are rates gonna go lower? We don't really know. If Tesla goes to a 20 PE, a growth company trading at value stock prices, it's just a great opportunity for investors. Peter Lynch talks about it's a good idea when stocks are trading at less than its growth percentage. That is just a great sign to buy. With it growing at around 50% a year and having a 20 PE, that just shows investors it's an amazing time to buy. My bearish case, if it trades at a 20 PE next year, would be a price of 100. The greatest buy in, I don't even know, easy 10 times your money within the next 5 to 10 years. If it starts trading at 100, once we get it out of this recession and a few years down the line. Elon even talked about a couple days ago in the Twitter spaces that he truly believes it'll be the most valuable company in the world in the next 5 years. So if it goes down to 100, that's at least a 10 times and within the next 5 years, which there's not too many opportunities that I know about. If you know about it, please drop it in the comments, but I don't see a better deal if it drops down to 100, a better place that you can almost guarantee to 10 times your money within the next 5 years. A more realistic PE that it could be trading at, I think it'll be trading somewhere between 30 and 40 PE next year. At a 50% growth would put it at 200 for 2023. Up to the 40 PE would put it at 267. I think somewhere between there is a pretty realistic price for Tesla, given its growth and its earnings for next year. I would say my personal price target would be somewhere between the 200 and the 267. That doesn't mean that's where I feel it's a fair value. I'm just saying I think with the economy that we're in right now, I think it's pretty fair to say it's gonna trade somewhere around that. So at 30% growth, the end of 2023, at a 30 PE, it'll be trading at about 150, which again is just an insane deal. Elon talked about the other day. He believes it's going to be the most valuable company within 5 years. So trading at 150 is, I think, a market cap at around less than 500 billion is a good 4 to 5 times your money within the next few years. Another amazing deal. So as I said it in my last video, I gave a little clip of Warren Buffett. When stocks go down are when you should be the most optimistic. If it's something that you truly believe in, and if it's not going to go out of business or go bankrupt, if it goes down, why wouldn't you buy? If you see something that you like at the store, for instance, you buy milk, you buy eggs, when those prices go down, you get kind of excited. But when a stock that you love goes down, people get scared. It's a weird emotional reaction that people have. I think it's just when it's your money, you see it fluctuating, it puts some people on an emotional roller coaster when really it should be a time that you're getting excited. It's almost like the drop of a roller coaster. It should be the most exciting time. You shouldn't be scared, even though some people do get scared on the drop of the roller coaster. As we get more into the bullish prices, or at the 50 PE that it could possibly be trading at, we see it can range at the 30% growth on the far left at 250 at a 50 PE, all the way to 536 if it grows at 90%. The growing at 90%, some catalyst to hit there would be the Megapack plant is doing just unbelievable. Berlin and Texas start growing, a couple new gigafactories, and just ramp up's insane. They don't need to cut prices on their Teslas. Demand doesn't fall whatsoever, especially with the $7,500 EV credit from the Inflation Reduction Act. Say demand even increases for Teslas. You could see high growth. It's not the most realistic of it getting up to $500, but it's definitely possible to get into the 300s. It was at 300 only a few months ago, so definitely possible to see a huge jump up. And then if we're trading at a 75 PE and 100 PE, you see at the 100 PE at 90% growth, which let me see what the net income would be. So if it could do a net income of 33 billion at 100 PE would put it at $1,000 per share, 1,072, which would just be amazing. It's a 10 times from here. So if you're a newer buyer of Tesla, that's a easy 10 times your money. But I think with these economic times, I don't think it's fair to say that we will be trading at 100 PE anytime soon. I think the range should be anywhere between 30 and 50 is reasonable based on the 50% growth rate. Like I said earlier, Peter Lynch talks about companies that are growing at 15% should have a PE around 15. And if it's has a greater growth rate than its PE, then you know you have a great deal. And that's even the PEG ratio. So you can kind of see the different ranges that it can trade at. The least it can trade at, in my opinion, would be at the 20 PE, growing at 30% a year by the end of 2023, trading at around $100. The biggest buy, I'd be trying to I might even contemplate getting into margin if it starts trading at $100 per share. Where if it gets all the way to the 100 PE and doing the best, it gets to around 33 billion in net income. Could be trading closer to 1,000. My personal prediction of next year, I think it's going to be another slow year. I think 2022 was just the start of the recession. I think 2023 will be the peak recession, and then going into 2024 will be as we start exiting out of the recession, and then going into 2025, 2026 into a very bull market. To me, a lot of companies, Apple's been doing great, different companies have been doing amazing during this time, and they're just dipping. So it doesn't really have to do with the macroeconomics necessarily for the companies are doing poor, but just the economy as a whole, the war in Ukraine, inflation from a lot of money printing during COVID times. I think by hopefully around 2024, it should start seeing the end of that. And so my final price prediction for 2023, I'm gonna be between the 30 and 40 PE, and I'm gonna say Tesla by the end of 2023 will be at around $230 per share for 2023. It's not what I believe it should be trading at. Personally, I think it should be trading well above $300 per share, but I think just in our economic times, I'm gonna go around 220 to 230 for my price prediction for 2023. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, what it can go to. Are you bullish on Tesla? Are you a Tesla bear? Let me know in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time.